All right, guys, grab your snacks because this one is wild. Catherine just dropped some massive news that has literally the internet spinning. And of course, Austin had to jump right into the middle of it like always. It's messy, it's emotional, and honestly, it's giving deja vu. But before we even start breaking down the reactions, the shade, and Austin's very interesting response, let's rewind and piece this whole thing together, because trust me, this story has more layers than an onion wearing lip gloss. So picture this. It's just another Monday scroll session, right? Everyone's minding their business, and then boom, Catherine pops up on Snapchat with what looks like the biggest life update she's had in years. She's glowing, she's smiling, she's holding something up, and before anyone can blink, she announces she's pregnant. Yep. Catherine Paiz officially expecting again, and the internet lost its mind. Now, here's where things get wild. She didn't just say it casually like, hey guys, just so you know, I'm expecting. No, Catherine dropped this like a whole cinematic moment. She posted a clip of herself taking a pregnancy test during a trip to Qatar. Like she literally filmed the whole thing, talking about how she wasn't even sure what was happening with her body, and then bam, positive. Her reaction? Pure shock. She even said she almost didn't record it, which, if you think about it, kinda adds this raw, genuine vibe we rarely see from influencers anymore. And honestly, you could feel it. She wasn't trying to stage some perfect announcement aesthetic. She looked genuinely stunned, saying, I can't believe this. I stopped taking my birth control the day of my wedding, had my period walking down the aisle, and now, exactly 1 month later, I'm pregnant. Like, the timing is wild, right? You can't make that up. But then she said something that really hit people. She said, God said you're going to be pregnant when I say you're going to be pregnant. And that line, it went viral. People were reposting it everywhere because it felt so real and personal. Whether you believe in fate, timing, or whatever you want to call it, Catherine's moment hit hard for a lot of people. So yeah, she's emotional, she's happy, she's shocked, it's the full roller coaster. Then she tells her mom, and that reaction, priceless. Her mom's like, what? Totally confused, totally thrown off. It was the kind of genuine, chaotic family moment that reminds you these people might be famous, but they still have those real, unfiltered reactions that make you smile. But okay, here's where the internet storm officially kicks off. Because if you know anything about the Austin-Catherine saga, you already know what's coming next. The moment Catherine shared the news, the internet immediately turned their eyes toward Austin McBroom. And like clockwork, Austin showed up online, live streaming, clapping, talking, reacting, and honestly, making Catherine's big moment feel somehow about him again. But before we dive into Austin's live, let's talk about Igor, Catherine's husband, because honestly, that man deserves some credit here. The way he handled the announcement, pure class. He posted the sweetest message saying becoming a dad has been his dream, that Catherine is the best mom, and that he's going to do everything he can to be the best husband and father. It felt heartfelt, mature, and so grounded. You could just tell the guy meant it, and fans noticed. They were in the comments like, this is the energy Catherine deserves. But then, not even 24 hours later, Austin decides to post the same pregnancy photo of Catherine and Igor holding the test on his Snapchat story. Yeah, the exact same one. And people were like, wait, what? Why is he posting that? Is he reminiscing? Is he trying to insert himself into the story? What's going on here? Some fans thought maybe it was an old photo. Others thought he was being shady, but then everyone realized, nope, that's the real current photo from Igor's Instagram. Austin just reposted it, which is kind of wild when you think about it, because this isn't his news to share. Now pause right here for a second. This is one of those dopamine breadcrumb moments where you think you know where it's going, but you don't. Because instead of clarifying anything, Austin goes live later that same day, and who's with him? Shoddy Bay. Yeah, you heard that right. So now we've got Austin doing this collab live streams supposedly for fun, and right in the middle of it, she asks the question everyone's thinking. She looks at him and goes, so how do you feel about your baby mama having a kid? And guys, the way that question landed, you could feel the tension through the screen. His face said it all. He starts nervously laughing, trying to redirect like, oh, that's a good question, but we'll talk about that after the workout. The man was deflecting like his life depended on it. It felt rehearsed, like someone told her, okay, ask him now, cue the drama, because it didn't even seem spontaneous. And the audience, oh, they caught it immediately. Chat was blowing up with comments like, this is staged, he's definitely uncomfortable, why are they making this a storyline? Then he literally says, let's talk about it after the workout. Like, sir, you just got hit with the internet's biggest question and you're trying to switch to push-ups? Make it sense. Anyway, after dodging that question, Austin eventually returns later on his stream to address the elephant in the room. You know that line he always uses when he knows he can't ignore something anymore. And he says, quote, I want to say congratulations to Catherine and Igor. They're having a baby and I'm happy for them. My kids called me before the announcement, which made me happy, so that's amazing. Now that sounds nice and mature on the surface, right? But the internet wasn't buying it. Because the tone, the delivery, the weird pauses, and the clapping. Oh my gosh, the clapping. Every few seconds, he's clapping mid-sentence like he's trying to convince himself he's fine. People online were like, the clapping is his coping mechanism. He's trying not to break down, or bros clapping through the pain. It became a meme in itself. And honestly, once you notice it, you can't unhear it. But here's the real question that started spreading everywhere. Why does Austin always have to insert himself into Catherine's big life moments? Whether it's subtle shade, emotional monologues, or using her photos, it always circles back to him somehow. People were pointing out how Catherine never talks about Austin, never mentions his relationships, never even acknowledges his drama, yet every time she has a moment of peace, he's suddenly back in the mix. And here's where I have to add my opinion. I think Austin genuinely struggles to let go of the narrative. He built an entire empire around their relationship. The Ace family was literally their brand. And I think part of him can't separate Catherine the person from Catherine the content. It's not necessarily malicious, it's more like he's stuck in that old identity, still trying to stay relevant to a story that's clearly moved on without him. But fans weren't having it. Comment sections were brutal. People were saying things like, why is he still talking about her? It's been years, move on. And my personal favorite, the only thing Austin should be clapping for is Catherine's new happiness. That one stung. But you know what? They have a point. Catherine's been quiet, she's been glowing, she's building this new chapter with Igor, and honestly, she seems genuinely happy. She's not throwing shade, she's not dragging her ex, she's just living. And that's probably what makes it sting even more for him. Let's be real, this isn't the first time Austin's talked about Catherine publicly. Remember that time he interviewed his daughter and literally asked her, what if me and mommy had another baby? Like, what? The internet collectively cringed. It felt inappropriate, especially considering Catherine's in a new marriage. People were calling it disrespectful, saying he was using his daughter for content, and I hate to say it, but that moment aged terribly. And here's the thing, it's one thing to answer fan questions about your past, but it's another to constantly keep your ex's name floating around, especially when she's clearly not entertaining the drama. Catherine hasn't said one single thing about Austin in months. She's not clapping back, not posting subs, she's just staying in her lane. And honestly, that silence says more than any response ever could. So now the question is, why does the internet keep fueling it? Well, simple answer, because Austin keeps responding. He says, I only talk about her because people keep asking. But the truth is, if he stopped answering, people would stop asking. That's just how the algorithm works. It's like if you never close the door, people will keep peeking inside. And Austin, he's basically leaving the door wide open every time he goes live. But let's zoom out for a second. If you strip away the drama, the memes, the clapping, this whole situation actually shows something deeper about influencer culture. We've watched these two grow up online, meet, fall in love, start a family, split and move on, but the internet never really lets them move on, right? It's like the audience gets so attached to the storyline that they don't want new characters to enter the picture. And that's the danger of living your whole life in front of a camera. When the relationship ends, the audience still thinks it's season 8 of the same show. But Catherine, she's rewriting the script. She's choosing peace, choosing privacy, and now choosing motherhood again, this time with a new partner who seems to genuinely adore her. That's beautiful. And even though Austin is still figuring out his lane, maybe this will be his wake-up call to finally close that chapter for good. Because here's the truth. You can't heal if you keep rereading the old chapters. And Catherine, she's already writing a brand new book. So yeah, that's the team, that's the timeline, and that's the full story. Catherine's pregnant, Austin's clapping through the chaos, and the internet is eating popcorn watching it all unfold. But I genuinely wish them both peace, because at the end of the day, they share kids, they share history, and no matter how messy things get, they'll always be connected somehow. Anyway, I want to know what you think. Do you think Austin's reaction was genuine? Do you think it's time for him to stop talking about Catherine altogether? Drop your thoughts in the comments because this one's going to be debated for a while. And as always, thank you guys for watching. I love you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.